Hello, and welcome to this video where we will be continuing our discussion for the risk and security management. And in this video, we will dominantly focus on the risk management part. To begin with, risk management is a component of a broader framework, and they tie up quite well with governance and compliance. That's why we have something called as GRC, governance, risk management, and compliance, which actually act together to help uh, fulfill our business objectives. And of course, the compliance is standard to whichever industry we belong to and whichever compliance standards that we have to follow depending on the industry. So what is governance? We have seen plenty of definition in the previous videos. It ensures that the process of your achieving your business objective by means of using an IT system or otherwise is driven towards in a way that is easy for an organization to achieve those objectives. So governance helps formulating that framework which lead you in the path towards it. Compliance is about conforming with the requirements, be it regulatory or industry-wide requirements, uh, which is important for the continuity of your business. It entails laws and regulations, auditing and monitoring, and ethics and privacy as some of its core elements. What risk management does is that it helps you identify, assess, and respond to the risks that may occur while you are conducting the business, and also at the same time conforming to the compliance requirement. Now, again, governance here will help you as an overarching framework to align this two together. So, GRC is a very important concept. We will go further in discussing the core aspect of this framework, and that is the risk management. To understand the risk management, you have to first understand some of the core components of it. So to begin with, we have an asset. For example, we're running a business of producing medicines, or we're running a business of making a steel, or we are running the business of making software. Each business has something of value which helps them to conduct and derive meaning, both tangible and intangible, out of conducting that business, and that things of value is called asset. It could be anything. It could be people, process, and technology, or a combination of that. Now, while conducting the business, anything of the value to organization may come under a threat. What is a threat? It's a negative event which may lead to an undesired outcome resulting in loss or damage of an asset or the value of an asset. So, for example, if you are a software company, a damage to a networking cable, or damage to your data center where you are storing your code, may end up negatively impacting you. Now, what propagates the impact of this threat is the vulnerability. So, how does vulnerability defined? It's a weakness or a gap that exists in a system which may be exploited by a threat or by an actor who is exploiting that vulnerability. So, in terms of vulnerability, it's about, let's say you have not properly conducted the maintenance of your data center, which may lead to have broken wires, or which may lead to have wires which may require a replacement. Now, putting all this together, a risk mathematically can be defined as a threat into vulnerability. Now, threat alone in itself is not uh, uh, most compelling. But when you have a vulnerability which a threat exploit, either by means of an actor or by means of a natural intervention, then that is what it becomes as risk. To help us formalize and to control our risks, we have different frameworks, and two of them most important are NIST and ISO. So first, let's have a look at NIST 830. It's a 9-step process to identify, assess, mitigate, respond to your risk management process. It starts with what is called a system characterization. That is something we have seen in the business impact assessment, which gives the value or assign values to your system. It then proceeds with threat identification, vulnerability identification, control analysis. If you have a control to basically mitigate that vulnerability, then the likelihood determination, that how likely you are to get impacted if a particular vulnerability get exploited. Then you have impact analysis to see the actual impact of that vulnerability getting exploited. Then you determine the risk level in terms of how high, low, medium your risk is. You do your control assessment, try to map the control that you currently have with respect to the risk, and if the control is not matching, you probably want to have a new control in place, and then you document this result. Now it has inputs and output at each step of the process, and that is something you can look by simply searching for the NIST 830 risk management framework. ISO similarly has 3001 framework, which more or less aligns with the NIST framework, but in this, some of the processes are overlapping. So for example, what you called as the control determination, and that is called as a risk treatment here. What you called as an impact analysis, that becomes part of the risk analysis in this framework. So in terms of the actual actions and activities, both these frameworks are not very different. For your exam, you do not have to memorize the differences between these two frameworks, because they never gonna ask you a question about the actual differences, but you must know that the terminology between the two frameworks can be used interchangeably. So I'll stop here. Thanks for watching, and I'll hope to see you in the next video. Thank you very much.